Good morning, boys and girls. It's Mrs. Nielsen. We're going to do the morning message together today. Are you ready? Okay, let's look at our screen. Okay, let's see what we have here. Good morning. Today is, you know what day I always come and visit you. Wednesday. That's right. What's that letter begins with? W. Very good. It's Wednesday, June 3rd, 2020. This is the month, this is the date, and this is, excuse me, you got it, the year. The weather today is going to be warm, around 84 degrees. Bet you could go in your swimming pool if you have one. And the meteorologist is calling for thunderstorms. Well, make sure not to go in the swimming pool if it's thundering out, because that means it's bad weather. Yep, right there. And we don't want to be outside with storms, right? That would be dangerous. Okay, what are we going to do today? Today, we are going to learn about how we grow and change. We're going to talk about the human life cycle. Yesterday, Miss Haman talked to you about the butterfly life cycle, and you saw how a butterfly developed into a butterfly. Was it a butterfly when it first started? Nope. First it was the egg, right? And then from the egg it hatched. The larva hatched into a little tiny caterpillar, and it grew and grew and grew, just like you keep growing and growing and growing. And we're going to go over all the stages of our human life cycle. First with the baby, little infant, firstborn, right out of mommy. And then you get a little bit bigger baby, and then you grow to a kid, and then you go to an adult, and then finally you become an elderly person. And those are the basic stages of the human life cycle. But what are some ways we change as we grow? Well, let's look at the first dot right here. We change in our size. When you're a little tiny baby, you're very, very small, right? And then you get bigger and bigger as you get older. You get taller, and a lot of different things start to change about you. Your age changes, your birthday every year. When you're born, you're a day old, and then 2 days old, and then you get a couple of months old, and then you become a year old. And then each year you have another birthday, and you're 1 year older than the year before. How old are you guys now? Most of you are already 5 or turning 5 from 4. And by the time you go into kindergarten, you should be 5 or will be 5 soon. And then you'll be turning in the new year, 5? Then comes 6. That's right. How much we can do also changes. Can you ride a bicycle when you're an infant or a baby? No. Can you ride maybe one now, even if it's a 3-wheeler bicycle? Sure, because you're much bigger and you can do different things now. Were you able to write your name when you were just a little tiny baby? No, but we know how to write our names now, right? And as we get older, we're going to learn to write even more and more things. We also change in what our responsibilities are. You know what responsibilities are? Well, Mommy can tell you all about that. Responsibilities are the things that you need to do because of your age and because of who you are. Like moms need to take care of their children because they're mommies and that's what they do. Well, one day you're going to become a mommy or a daddy, and you're going to have to do those things too. Children's responsibilities now at your age are responsible to do their work for school. You're responsible to help your mom and your dad in the house, maybe. Clean up after your toys and do things like that. So your responsibilities change as you get older and as you grow. Well, let's just go through this again. One more time. First, for the human life cycle, the first thing is you are born. You're a little baby, right? Let me just take this out of the way here so we could see a little bit better. I'll put that Maybe I could just get rid of the background a little bit and we can see it better. There you go. First, you're a little baby. You see the word baby? Oh boy, it's chicken to me. He's coming back. You're a little baby, right? That's when you're born. Little baby, and then you get a little bit bigger. And then you get a little bit bigger, and you're what's called a toddler. You see that word toddler? Do you know how old toddlers are? Like 2- and 3-year-olds. They're called toddlers. But you're not a toddler anymore because you're 4 and 5. So now you are a child. There we go. Child or a kid, you might be called. And you're just a little bit bigger, and you're going to be a kid for a while. You're going to be a kid from now, from like 4 or 5, until you become what's called a teenager. Do you know how old a teenager is? Oh, could you see that there? There they are. They look a lot bigger, right? They almost look like adults. But they're not adults yet. They're still kids. They're just big kids. Teenagers are from the ages of 13 to 19. You're a kid from the ages of 4 or 5 till you're 13. When you turn 13, you are called a teenager. And those teenagers are getting big with more responsibilities and more things that they can do. And you will be able to do more things like them too when you become a teenager. After you're a teenager and 19 years old is over, and from 20 on, you're called an adult. An adult is very responsible. An adult sometimes has a job or will be getting a job after they go to college and get a good degree to become something. Maybe you become a lawyer or a doctor or just a mommy or daddy. You still have responsibilities when you're an adult. You have to take care of everything, and you have to take care of yourself very good by then. Nobody else is taking care of you at that point. Mommies and daddies are older now. They are almost getting to be older adults. And once they become older adults, they're going to become grandmas and grandpas when you have children. And as the grandmas and grandpas get older, we call them elderly. Elderly people are people who are probably over the age of 65 or 70. That's when you get be an older person. You're still an adult, but you're much older than your mom and dad are now. Okay, and that is the human life cycle. So let's look at it, boys and girls, all together on this picture right here. Could you see that? It says the human life cycle, just like the life cycle of a butterfly, only with us, humans. First, you're in mommy's belly. Did you see that picture right there? You're in mommy's belly. You're growing and developing. Then, when you're born, you're a baby. And then as you grow up a little bit more, in between baby and child, you're that toddler we talked about. Now you're a child. And you're a child until you're what age? 13. 13 is when you're a teenager. That's all the teen numbers. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, a young adult. And as a young adult, your responsibilities get more. You have to more and more responsibilities and more abilities. You may even be driving a car by now. Then you're a young adult as you get older and older, and you have your own children, and maybe your children get bigger into young adults. Then you are becoming an older adult. Do you remember what we call the older adults? They're called elderly. Elderly. Now, Mrs. Nielsen isn't quite an elderly yet, but I'm getting there. So I have a few more years to still be an adult. Maybe not a young adult, but an older adult. And soon, I will be an elderly too. And that's how the human life cycle works. So you go from being a baby, a little tiny baby, cute little baby, And then you get bigger and bigger and bigger. And as you get bigger and bigger and bigger, you learn how to do more and more things. You become smarter and you get more responsible. So that's all we learned about today, boys and girls. The human life cycle. And you are a human. So you are growing and you will be getting bigger and bigger. And you'll go through each of those stages as you get older. We all do. I did too. And now I'm an older adult. And someday soon, I hope in about 10 years or so at least, that I'm going to be called an elderly too. Maybe I'll be a grandma and grandpa too. We'll see. So Mrs. Nielsen's going to send you a human life cycle sequencing sheet. And I'm going to ask you to do that based on what we talked about. And I'm also going to be sending you some other materials for you to do. Let's see if I could pull them up here. Let's see which one I have here. Oh, first I wanted to do this with you. I almost forgot. There's a song on YouTube I'm going to tell Mommy to listen to you with. And it calls about you growing up. And these are the words for it. It says, I wonder if I'm growing. I wonder if I'm growing. My mom says, yes, I'm growing. But it's hard for me to see. My mom says, eat your sandwich. It will make you grow up tall. But when I eat my sandwich, I'm hardly bigger at all. You don't always notice that you're growing, but you do. You get bigger and bigger. And it keeps going on and on the song, and it tells you all about how you're growing. So I'm going to ask Mommy to sing that song with you and listen to it on YouTube. Okay? Now, I'm also going to... Oh, we did that one. Let's see this one. Oh, there go my doggies again. Send you a timeline with me for you to do and complete for me. And you could give me a picture, draw it, or put a picture of what you look like when you were a baby, when I was a baby. How did you do? What did you look like? What you are now, when you're present time, and what you think about when you grow up. What are you going to look like? What will you be? Will you be a teacher? Will you be a doctor? Will you be the President of the United States? Fill this out for Mrs. Nielsen and then send it to me. I hope you enjoy learning about how the human life cycle works and how you grow up to be big and tall and smart and have a lot of responsibilities. Okay? Now you be good, and I hope everybody's doing well. I miss you, and I hope to see you soon. Love you. Bye-bye.